Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Pop Culture Cafe. I am Huck, and on today's episode, I'm just going to do a little recap for you. This week on my morning show, I reviewed all the 70s disaster movies that I've seen up until now. So I'm just going to basically pull that clip from the morning show so that you guys can see it here today. In case you don't have time to go back and watch that morning show, you should go check it out, though. It was a really good morning show. We talked about those things, and we did a live reaction to Thor, Love, and Thunder. So I'll leave a link below for that. In the description, but that was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody that came out to that and gave me all kinds of cool comments and questions to talk about. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, so on today's episode, I'm going to show you that clip of those reviews. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and sit back and relax and enjoy my reviews of these 1970s disaster movies. I'm going to go over the first round of disaster movies that I watched so far in my disaster movie month. And I decided to lean heavily into the 70s genre. And so here they are. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6 of them right here, y'all. You can see the airport right there. So yeah, I'm just going to go in the order from least to best. I always like finishing strong. You know, am I right? Yeah, Mama Blu-ray, good morning. What's up? I'm so happy you are here. So we have Mama Blu-ray, we have Michael, hey buddy, and Ken, I think is still hopefully lurking around there. So I'm going over the disaster movies that I've seen so far in my disaster movie month. And then I'll be going over the Thor and Love and Thunder trailer live for the first time. So I'm very excited. So yeah, here we go. So this is the little masterful stack of 70s disaster films that I picked up. And I hate to say it, but you know, bottom of the barrel so far, we're gonna start using my mouth first, is the Hindenburg. The Hindenburg was pretty much a snore fest. Especially after seeing all the other ones. They had some excitement to them. They all sort of have that 70s pace, some a little bit better than others, and we'll get into that. But Hindenburg, just like, you know, when you got these type of disaster films, it's all about the, you know, stories that are like Titanic. I mean, you all know what happens to Titanic. So what are you going to do on the boat that really keeps you interested and captivated? And I mean, it's not hard to enjoy some time with Leo and Kate Winslet. I see. Oh, let me just pause for a second. Mama says Sue is leaving to go hunting. Oh, hi, Sue. Have a great hunting, especially when you're going into Target. It's a little nod to Sue's nice little song there. Hope I didn't destroy that. But yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. So hopefully she'll have some fun stuff. She'll get a laugh out of that horrible impression, or maybe it was spot on. Play it back. I think I nailed it. All right. Anyway, Hindenburg, all the subplots and stuff, they just weren't very engaging. It didn't pull me in all that much like some of the other films. And the strangest part is, right, like all of these films, they reach that sort of disaster moment. And you're kind of like, oh, how are they going to recreate it? Like Titanic? You know, he recreated hitting the thing and sinking it and all that good stuff. And the Hindenburg, okay, so when it gets to the end where the blimp explodes, literally, it's on the cover, people. Nice packaging, right? In case you don't know the story, here it is, right on the cover. So the film is in color, right? It starts off with this little weird newsreel thing. It's in black and white, and I think this was their thing. And then it turns into color. And then the whole adventure is in color. And then right as the bomb goes up, they do it as a bomb. There's lots of theories about what actually brought the thing down, static electricity and all kinds of other things. But in this film, they chose a bomb. The guy had a bomb on the thing. And as soon as it blows up, it does this very weird effect, and everything sort of like gets all kind of like, you know, creepy, man, like Cheech and Chong took over. And then it goes into black and white. And I'm thinking, why is this film going to black and white? You ready? It's because they're cheap, right? So when the blimp explodes, other than probably the one moment of explosion, it's the news footage. It's all the news footage. There's no recreating of the blimp falling and landing. I mean, there's definitely some tricks, some Hollywood tricks where people are running in this fire and metal behind them, to simulate the rubble and falling. But the actual everything, coming down and exploding, and because the newsreels back in the day were black and white, that's why they sort of did this weird effect to suddenly turn the movie into black and white so they could use the black and white footage from the actual newsreels. So it's like it's on fire and it's falling, and then it would freeze. And then cut to the next thing, and then, it's going down, freeze. And then it keeps going as like, why is it freezing? And the only reason I can assume it was freezing is because the newsreels would roll and then stop at a certain point. Like they didn't capture the whole thing going down. And then so the freeze is to sort of capture the drama. Anyway, that's going back in the sellback pile. I'll never watch that again. Now, number 2, hang on, before we get to number 2, let's see. Ken is saying, hey, buddy, what's up, Huck? What's up, Ken? Welcome to the morning show here. Let's see. Tell Sue I'll see her at Best Buy. Heading there myself to get cabin steel. Heck yeah. Well, good luck, Ken, because I know sometimes you get there and they got nothing. That's what's killing us on these hunts, man. You get all psyched up and ready to go. You're like wringing your hands together. Let's go. Your doors open up. You hoof it to the section and crickets. You're like, all right, let's go to Dunkin' Donuts. All right. Like I'm just like your conduit here. Ken says Sue laughed. Nice. Well, I'm a Blu-ray. She's like hooked into Sue right now, or maybe she's just still hanging around. But yeah, that's gonna be good. You guys we're gonna be watching both your channels today. We're gonna see who gets their steal today. I know you both are hungry for that steal. It's a fun movie. All right, so the next up is Roller Coaster. Now, look, when I call up 70s disaster movies, they do point out that Roller Coaster is one of those. No. Okay, so in the opening, you get your first roller coaster crash, right? And it's pretty good. Like the track comes off, the explosion, the bomb goes off, and the thing goes careening up the top, one of the top curves, to give it that momentum to sling it out, and all the bodies in the thing, are in the cars and stuff. You're like, oh, not bad for 70. You can kind of tell some of them. I hope all of them were actually dummies inside. I did hear there were some stuntmen for certain ones. As it went off, they were supposed to do something, but they got injured and had to go to the hospital. No one died, but that'd be a real disaster. It did. But anyway, so on the back it says, it says like this guy is like, uses amusement parks and roller coasters for his disasters, right, or whatever. And that was the only one. That was it. The opening roller coaster crash was it. So I was sort of expecting this guy to be sort of this roller coaster, like what do they call him? Like it's a killer that has like sort of a style. I thought this guy's was amusement parks and specifically roller coasters because you do more damage with roller coasters. And so there's 3 amusement parks that are visited. Is the first one where it careens off. The second one where the tension is building up because the bad guy is onto the cops. See, and here's the other thing. The weird thing about this plot is, so the bad guy is Timothy Bottoms, right? The good-looking dude right there. So you don't expect him. And then this guy here, Jason Segel, is the one who he has do all of his bidding for him. And every step of the way, Segel is talking to all the cops and stuff about what to do. And then like Bottoms will call him on the phone. He goes, I know you're talking to the cops. I know what you're doing. Don't do it or I'll kill some people. I'm like, how do you, like, you're kind of waiting for, how do you know? Are you tailing him? Are you a former, maybe he's a former cop and he knows all their tricks and he's got bugs everywhere. It's never explained. It's the most convenient plot device is he just literally calls him on the phone because there's no cell phones, but he knows every phone number of where the guy is. Of course, back in the day, we all had phone books, so you could literally, Jason Segel, you look him up, you call him on the phone. So I get that he can call him at his home because those were all listed. But anyway, so there's a lot of convenient plot devices of him just knowing every step. And he was wearing a wire in a scene. He knew he was wearing a wire. How do you know he's wearing a wire? So little things like that, things that you want good writing to explain to you and they don't, it kind of irks you by the end of the movie. So yeah, so by the end of the movie, there is no other roller coaster disaster. They even did it right here in my hometown, up here up the 5 freeway. We have Six Flags Magic Mountain. In the 70s, it was just Magic Mountain. And there was this new roller coaster that just opened up, the first all metal one. And that was the one that's going to, be the scene of the disaster. Now, I'm sure there's probably something too about, hey, yes, can we use your amusement park? But we won't blow it up because we want people to come to your park. We don't want them to think that, a mad bomber is going to take out your park. Anywho, so that was a one and done too. There was anyway. Now we start stepping it up, y'all. Hang on, I'll get right to that. Let's see what we got going here. Hey, Movie Hunter 2020 says morning with his mugs. Right on, dude. Chug chug. Anthony's Horror and More says good morning, everyone. Good morning, Anthony. So we are moving on to Airport. Now, there are 4 of these. I've only seen the first one because I just wanted to get all the main ones done. So if I got time, I'll squeeze out Airport 75, 77, and Concorde. But the first one I wanted to watch, and the first one actually has Dean Martin in it. So I thought that was kind of cool. He's actually pretty good. By the way, Airport and Hindenburg, there are no menus. None. Zero. It jumps right into the movie, gets going, and that's it. So don't expect special features or nothing. I was like, okay. Crazy. But, and you will see, this is really great. So George Kennedy appears in almost all of these films, right? He's in Airport, and then I even looked it up. He appears in all the airports, and it's the same character, so that's pretty rad. He's also in Earthquake. Yeah, and Earthquake. Yeah, I said all of them, but he's in a lot of them. He's in all of these and Earthquake, and he's really good in all of them. So the thing about Airport is it builds to it. It takes about an hour and a half before you actually or about an hour before they get into the plane and start to take off. And then about an hour and a half, then the drama starts happening. So it's a little slow getting there. But you know what? This is one that the drama, the kind of building up to it, there's a lot of heart in it, especially surprisingly. Like, I don't know much about Dean Martin's acting other than when he's with, Lewis, Martin and Lewis, lady, hey, he's with Jerry. Spot on impression, by the way. Anyway, back to this stuff. And he was excellent. He's having now a lot of the situations in these films, by the way, there's always one bad marriage. Like, I mean, just fuming. There's one in Earthquake, and there's one in this movie. I want to say there's even one in Tower Inferno. Yeah, there is. So yeah. So there's like one couple that they're done with each other and they're just hateful. And then there's a lot of cheating going on. There's a lot of, adultery. So Dean Martin is, yeah, he's sleeping with Jacqueline Bisset, really cute girl with a British accent. But the thing is, the other ones, they're fuming at each other. So if they have another girlfriend, you're like, oh, well, they're separating it. But the sad part is with this is Dean is having sort of it seems like he has a nice relationship with his wife, because when, oh, yeah, too much away. But when the wife knows that there's something wrong with the plane, she goes to the airport and she kind of learns that Dean's seeing this girl. And you're kind of sad about that. But that also means that they're doing a good job setting up the storyline. And it is kind of sweet how Dean cares for her, because she actually is injured on the plane and stuff like that. But anyway, I liked Airport. I thought it was pretty good. Trying not to spoil it. It's like 45 years old, so assume you've all seen it. Maybe not. I haven't, so why would I think you've seen it? Shut up. All right, let's move on. All right, now the next two. All right, hang on, let's see if we get any more comments first. Anthony's Horror More says, hey, I just watched the movie Thief last night, directed by Michael Mann. Oh, it was great. I have not seen that one. I do like me some Michael Mann, though. I loved Collateral, when Tom Cruise is the bad guy and Jamie Foxx is the taxi driver. I mean, that was cool, man. Like Cruise. Look, I'll do a whole show on why I love Tom Cruise. Every Tom Cruise hater can not watch it, because I mean, look, the dude is still killing it. Because here's the thing: some people still really like Tom Cruise movies because he's still top of his game, and people are going. And yet, everyone you meet says, "I'm not a Tom Cruise fan." Like, I know there aren't them, but I'm waiting for those who are out there to say, "I'm a Tom Cruise fan." Haven't seen one yet. Anyway. maybe one person will light it up. Now there says, not a Tom Cruise fan. Okay, let's see what we got. Movie World Comics. What's up, man? The only Dean Martin movie I've seen other than the Jerry Lewis ones is Rio Bravo. How was he in that? I mean, if he's as good as he is in Airport, I'm assuming he's pretty good. Well, Mama Blu-ray, what about you? I bet, this is Dean Martin and Lewis. Did you see a bunch of Dean Martin movies growing up? Because I don't recall a ton on TV, but then, maybe I wasn't as aware of who he was other than with Jerry Lewis. So, yeah, I'm seeing a ton. Here we go. Movie Hunter 2020. I'm Tom Cruise. There it is. Me and you, bro. We're going to take on the world. All right. You can guest host with me. You in? Let's do it. Cheers. Let's do it. All right. All right. Here's the next one. I'm splitting hairs here. I could flip a coin and switch places here, but on the third place is going to be Towering Inferno. This is really good. You have to dismiss all of the 70s pacing, because what they do in these films is they show you every step of the way. So Paul Newman is the architect, designed the building, and Steve McQueen is the fire chief. And so the fire chiefs are always like, they did it in Earthquake too. They're always bitching about how the architects build the buildings too tall and out of code. And when then stuff like this happens, then you call me. It's fascinating. So it's a similar thing happens in both films. When McQueen is trying to show Paul Newman how to set these bombs, because they needed to set off these water tanks. Here's the odd thing. So the Tower Infernos, it's a massive skyscraper, but yet the huge tanks of water that supply the building are on one of the top floors. So I'm like, and they're like, it's millions of gallons. I'm like, how is the structural support holding those millions of gallons of water tanks at the top of the building? You would instantly think, no, those should be on the bottom of the building. But then again, you couldn't have the conclusion you do if they were not on the top. You know where this is going. That's right. They got to blow those tanks to rain down on the tower to put it out. So do they? I don't know. Maybe the whole thing goes up in flames. However, there is a lot of that kind of, okay, first, here's what I want you to do. You take this device. Here's the C4. You put the thing in. Now you unroll this wire. Now you throw the wire over there, and then and it's literally explains everything. And then you put it in, and you tack it on there. And you set the timer. You throw it. You got it. And then Paul Newman goes, got it. And it cuts to Paul Newman taking the C4, putting the thing in, unrolling the device, throw it over there. Look, it's the exact thing. I'm like, oh my god, you don't have to show us that. So I was curious which film. Both Towering Inferno and Earthquake came out the same year. And Tower Inferno, I believe, got best cinematography and editing. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it was curious that they were kind of battling each other for similar awards, but Earthquake got best sound, because it was all about that surround sound that was coming out at the time, shaking people's seats, making them think they're in a real earthquake. Classic. Anyway, performances are fantastic in Towering Inferno. Absolutely enjoyed this film a ton. A young Robert Wagner is with this, lovely secretary, and it's going into the weekend, so everyone's kind of leaving, and it's this brand new building, and a lot of well-to-dos are having a party on the top floor. It's almost like Die Hard, except Nakatomi Plaza, the party's more on the bottom floor, but of course in this movie the terror is near the top, so you gotta get them near the top. Otherwise, you gotta have that moment of, can we rescue them or can't we? You can rescue them if they're on the first floor. So yeah, it was very cool. So yeah, I don't want to give too much away because I want you guys to see this one. I'm not pushing too much for Hindenburg and roller coaster, but this was, I think, worth your time. They're long. Like most of these go well over 2 hours. It's like, I think it was 2:17 on Airport, 2:45 maybe on this one, almost 3 hours, and Earthquake is close to 2.5, I believe. But it was pretty cool. I don't want to tell you who dies and who doesn't die, but let's just say the first death, you're like, oh my god, like that guy just died just now, and then somebody else just blew out of a window. I'm like, oh dang. So yeah. Now, and then this sounds terrible because we're so used to like disaster movies today where there's like explosions and hundreds of people die. The thing about Tower Inferno is, I hate to say this, not enough people die. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a disaster film. Like near the end, when they're in that the party room and they're breaking all the windows, because they need to try to get like a tow line to come in so they can get out, or just they have to break the windows, so that creates a little danger because now there's no windows to keep you from falling out. And I thought, oh, okay, so when these water tanks break, it's gonna crush the ceiling above and it's gonna rain down, or maybe I don't know, but I figured that it would just flood and throw a bunch of people out the window because that's how our current brains are, like, oh, it's gonna be wicked. But no, everyone's sort of tied ropes around themselves, around a pillar, and like they're hanging on. They're like, no, and the water's flowing by. I think maybe 2 people went, "Aye," dead. I'm like, oh, so that's like maybe 5 people. Like in your brain, you can probably predict a whole bunch more people died, but yeah, they don't show them like they do in today's disaster movies. Good God, like Armageddon, criminy, everything blows up in that. Anyway, I digress. Towering Inferno. Pretty good. Love it. All right. Now, very close runner up. Like I said, I could mix and match these two. Earthquake is the next one I watched. And this also has George Kennedy. He's also from the Naked Gun movies, if you guys know that. And this one's got Chuck Heston, damn, take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. That was Planet of the Apes. Anyway, so yeah, Earthquake. What I love about, both of these films. So, the Towering Inferno, the fire thing starts almost immediately, and it's slowly building. It's happening almost the entire film. Whereas Airport took a while to get to that. There's an issue with the runway because an airplane, it's super snowy, and this airplane tries to get off of a runway, but it submerges itself into snow, and the weight of it goes into the earth a little bit, and so it can't move. So it's blocking this key runway. That's the only thing that the airplane can land on, the one that's in danger when it's coming back. So that's the setup there. I won't tell you what happens, but does it clip it? Does it take something off? Oh, does somebody die from that? I ain't gonna tell you. But so that's the drama built up on that, and they set that up early, but it's not as imminent as the Towering Inferno. And then Earthquake, they kind of get going pretty good on that as well, showing you the seismologists, looking around, seeing, because they had some aftershocks coming and stuff like that. But when the earthquake hits, it goes on for a long time, like longer. I'm out here in California. Earthquakes don't last like 15 minutes. They don't, thank God, because I think everything would fall to the ground. But I've been in one too, 94. Woo, damn. It's just like being in this movie, man. It was weird. Anywho, PTSD, don't talk about it. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Earthquake. So good effects, like when things start cracking and falling. I know that it's not real concrete because some people are taking the hits, and there was one shot in particular. These 2 stuntmen did such a great job. As the roof was coming down, and this one stuntman sees, he knows it's coming down. He sort of stands up right as it's coming down, and then he sort of takes it all down with him, because it's like balsa wood and styrofoam probably, because if he just stayed on the ground, you would see it hit him, bounce off of his head, and roll away, right? So it's like, oh, that looked totally fake. So he cleverly stands up, takes the debris on his back, and then goes down with it. And so the stuff sort of settles on him, making it look heavy. I'm like, oh, dang, right? Like, I look for stuff like that. Like, I thought, man, oh, that was a brilliant stunt. That was a great stunt. And there's a lot of that in here. And another thing I noticed is, I think they have the same stairwell in the Tower Inferno, Earthquake, and the last film I'm talking about. There's literally stairwell scenes in each of these 3 films. And it's like a floor has been decimated, and you have to get to the next floor by either climbing on the debris that's hanging, like the poles or pieces of the wall. It's almost like wall climbing before we had it. But a lot of stairwells and stuff like that. So Earthquake, the matte paintings, the matte paintings especially, these are like Star Wars quality, man. The image of the street and the cracks in the building and the decimation is so well done. It's so well done in this film that that made me super impressed. The ending, the very, very ending, was a little bit stupidity on one of the characters' part, is all I'm going to say. Like, there's right at the end, a character makes a really stupid decision, and let's just say it's the last decision he made. Or she. Could be. Anyway. Anywho, so yeah, number 2 was Earthquake. And before I get to the last one, let's see, we have a new comment here. Oh, thanks, Caveman. He says, hit that like button, people. Thank you. You know I always forget because I'm just here to hang out and talk to you guys. But yes, please hit that like and subscribe if you're new. But I know all you people here. I think you're all subscribers. Number 1, Poseidon Adventure. Dang, y'all. This is still the best. If you've not seen the original Poseidon Adventure, it's just freaking phenomenal, right? Who's seen this? Come on, chime it down there. Say, I've seen it, you know. Gene Hackman, one of the greatest of all time. He is a goat. He's one of our goats, y'all. Absolutely. Gene Hackman can be in a terrible movie, and he'll make that terrible movie not so terrible. And he's also one of the few actors who survives being in a terrible movie, and as soon as he does his next movie, you're like, hey, Hackman's got a new movie out, right? Because sometimes if a really big actor does a real stinker, you're like, oh, I don't know, his last movie's pretty bad. No one ever says that about Gene Hackman. Everyone just says he's great. We know he's got some stinkers out there, right? Got to. I don't know. But anyway, when this boat flips over and the set pieces become upside down and it fills with water, the dramatic tension in this film, I think, is the best because especially when you got characters like Shelley Winters, you know? Oh, my gosh, Shelley Winters. I mean, this one has the most heart. Like, there's some heart in all of these films, but I think I just am moved the most by the Poseidon Adventure. And there's just, you want them all to get out. You want them all to make it. And every step of the way, some of them make it. And then maybe one person doesn't make it. And you're like, oh, damn. And then, it just keeps going. So that's, you know, just nothing much else to say other than Poseidon Adventure is just so good. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to give too much away. I'm not going to tell you what characters come and go, but listen to this cast, though. Gene Hackman, Ernest Borgnine, Red Buttons, Carol Lindley, Roddy McDowell, speaking of Planet of the Apes, Stella Stevens, and Shelley Winters, as I mentioned. They're all so dang good. So good. Well, that is going to do it, my friends. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed these reviews for these films. Let me know in the comments below. Have you seen any of these? Which are your favorites? I really just love that Poseidon Adventure. But let me know if it's also your favorite, or maybe you'll prefer Towering Inferno. Let me know, guys. I'm curious what you guys think of this particular era of the genre of disaster films from this time. They kind of started it off here, so it's a fascinating watch to see how it all began. Anyway, that is going to do it for now. If you're new to my channel, please do me a favor and hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified the next time I do my next video. Alright guys, until next time, I'll catch you later.